You may have heard the recent news about the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID. The agency is in turmoil after dozens of senior career officials were placed on administrative leave, effectively stripping it of much of its leadership. This follows a controversial move by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, which sought greater control over the agency. Adding to the chaos, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has declared himself the acting administrator of USAID, fueling speculation that the agency may be merged into the State Department, or even shut down entirely. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has called USAID a wasteful relic, and there are growing concerns that its budget could be slashed or eliminated altogether. Is foreign aid an unnecessary expense, or a crucial tool of influence? More often, it is a calculated exercise in influence. Yet many who argue for slashing America's overseas assistance fail to grasp this. They see aid as charity, an unnecessary expense rather than an instrument of statecraft. This mindset risks ceding strategic ground to America's rivals at a moment when global power is shifting. Nowhere is this more evident than in Africa, where China has spent decades building economic and political leverage. The belief that cutting foreign aid will somehow save America money is a common misconception. Many people assume we're spending a massive chunk of our federal budget on aid, but in reality, U.S. foreign aid accounts for less than 1% of total federal spending. Compare that to what we spend on defense, over $800 billion a year, and it's clear that aid is a fraction of our national security investment. Yet its impact is significant. The recent controversy surrounding USAID's leadership reflects a deeper issue in American policymaking, the assumption that businessmen, with their focus on efficiency and a return on investment, can manage international affairs like a corporation. But power does not function like a balance sheet. A well-placed infrastructure project or a reliable supply of medical aid secures goodwill that no amount of advertising can buy. And in geopolitics, as in business, market share lost to competitors is rarely recovered without considerable cost. America's foreign aid program is not, as some claim, an expensive exercise in altruism. It's a tool of strategic engagement. The funds dispersed through USAID do more than support fledgling democracies and humanitarian causes. They provide a counterweight to autocratic influence, ensure access to critical trade routes, and deter instability that could spill over into costly military intervention. Consider this: the cost of a military deployment can reach $1 million per soldier per year. Compare that to foreign aid, which often prevents conflicts before they escalate. Keeping regions stable through aid is far cheaper than sending in troops after the fact. China understands this well. Through its Belt and Road Initiative, it has poured over $1 trillion into global infrastructure projects, securing ports, highways, and mining operations across the world's most resource-rich continent. This is not just an infrastructure program, it's a long-term strategy to entrench Chinese influence in regions where American presence is fading. Where America withdraws, China advances. The result is a shift in allegiances as governments indebted to Beijing adjust their policies accordingly. Africa is of particular concern. Its coastline offers access to key maritime routes, and its interior is a patchwork of government vacuums and insurgencies, many of which are already hostile to American interests. Cutting aid to these regions will not balance America's budget, but it will make it easier for rivals to expand their influence. Money is not just economic leverage, it's political leverage. Dollars spent in aid translate into decisions made in Washington's favor. There is an argument for greater scrutiny of where and how aid money is spent. America contributes more than any other nation to foreign assistance, spending around $50 billion per year, and some programs undoubtedly create perverse incentives, fostering dependence rather than sustainable economic progress. A retreat from foreign aid in the name of fiscal prudence or ideological purity is nothing short of self-sabotage. America has tried isolationism before, with disastrous results. Wilsonian idealism in the early 20th century assumed that democracy and economic liberalism would spread without active engagement. They did not. The result was a world left open to the rise of autocratic powers, accumulating in conflicts that cost far more than proactive diplomacy ever would have. The lesson should be clear. Aid is not a giveaway, it's an investment. And like any other investment, it requires patience, strategy, and a keen awareness of the competition. America can afford to be generous. What it cannot afford is to be naive. So, do you think cutting foreign aid is a mistake? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global affairs.